Good morning. Welcome to Biology 142. So we're going to go over the website. This is an orientation. If you had me for 141, the 5-week course, there might be some slight differences. So please watch this orientation as well. I opened up the class 5 weeks ago for you guys to get started. I hope you did get started, and I hope everyone has access to their textbook at this point. Okay. First of all, I'll always post announcements, and you can find the announcements here or over on the left-hand side here. The syllabus, if you click on that, it's just going to tell you the due dates. And notice that there are 4 tests. And basically, you get 1 test per week. On Sunday of this week, you'll take the endocrine and blood test, and you'll also have had the endocrine and blood practical at that point. And then you have a week to complete the heart and blood vessel test and heart and blood vessel practical. So that's how this is going to work. Now it's a 5-week course. So you'll notice we'll finish 1 week early. And then we have an entire week for retakes. The retake idea is basically if you want to score higher on your test, you get to retake it during the retake time. You don't want to miss a test because, well, we'll go over that missing policy later. A lot of people get intimidated. The material's difficult and we're moving really fast. You just have to keep going. Just keep moving forward. Don't psych yourself out. So I'll give you a second to read this redemption policy, or you can pause the recording. Pause the recording and read this. So about this retake policy, the reason you can only score 25% higher on a retake is because some students will choose to be in denial and not study at all and just take a test and fail it and then retake it later for a better grade. Well, in reality, students just don't do that. Please don't get behind in this class. If you get behind in this class, you might fail this class. And a lot of people get intimidated, like I said, or have anxiety and might not want to take a test. We all have to do things we don't want to do. You're taking Biology 142 in 5 weeks, and you can do this. Many students before you have done this, and they've done it successfully. At any time, if you need help, reach out to me. If you need encouragement, reach out to me. Everybody needs encouragement. Okay, let's, you see your grades link over there. Over here, you see the McGraw-Hill Connect. If I click on that, it's not going to work because I don't have a textbook. But here are the modules, and you start here. This video is going to be posted here. It's just not made yet, so therefore it's not there. Here is where we find the syllabus, and we're going to go over the syllabus shortly. But as you scroll down here, how this is set up is you have, in Unit 1, you have the endocrine and blood chapters to go over. And these are the chapters in your textbook, 17, 18, 19. And these things, the summary of table of hormones, this is something to help you with for the endocrine system. These are the PowerPoints up here. And now if I click on this, what's going to come up is a very long set of questions for the blood chapter for you to work on. After you've read the blood chapter, after you've watched the videos, you can open up this document and use it as a self-testing tool. Please don't open up the document and hunt and peck and look for the answers, because that's not study time. That's wasting your time. What you want to do is feel like you're ready for the test, open this up and see how confident you are. Do this if the test is due on Sunday. You would do this by Friday. That's not a lot of time for this chapter, for this unit, but you would read the questions and see where your weaknesses are and then go back and restudy those areas. Okay, so the first part we have up here, let's see, up here, we have our study helpers, and then we'll move into the lecture videos. So you'll click on these videos and you'll watch the videos. Take notes, and if you print off the PowerPoints, or if you can do it that way, you can take notes on your PowerPoints. It's very helpful to keep yourself organized. So they're the endocrine lectures, and then here's the lab. You'll have a lecture, and then you'll have slides to practice with for your practical. Not all of In this semester, not everything will have a lab video. Like for instance, for the digestive system, maybe when you get to the digestive system, all of the anatomy is done in lecture. So just be aware of that. I might have a digestive video, but it's very repetitive. All right, so there are the endocrine lab videos, endocrine lecture videos. Here are lecture videos for blood, and then our lab video. There's no printout for that one to help you. You'll see what you have. And so then I have the Unit 1 test. Here's the endocrine and blood. Notice it's due this Sunday by midnight. And I promise you half of this class is going to ask me for an extension for one reason or another. And I say just charge ahead. Just go. You do not want to get behind in this class. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Take the test and the practical. Everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is very afraid. Just do it. Here, the endocrine practical and the blood practical. Now, when we go over the syllabus, I'll say we only have 4 practicals. Are these 2 of the 4? These actually combine. Notice the endocrine practical is worth 45 points and the blood practical is worth 7 points. What I'll do is I'll average these 2 together. But the blood practical does not count as much as the endocrine practical when I average those grades together. In other words, it will be weighted. So I'll take for Unit 1, I'll take these 2 practicals and will heavily weight the endocrine practical to get your final lab practical 1 score. I do it this way so you have more opportunities to do well in lab. But what you will see right on Monday, because everyone by Monday will have completed these labs, I will put a lab practical 1 assignment into the computer. You don't need to take that because what I'm doing is I'm putting that in. So these guys will go away on Monday, the endocrine and the blood practical. I'll take your averages, I'll combine them, I'll put that in the lab as the lab practical 1 score. I might go ahead and put lab practical 1 scores up just so they'll be there and it's not confusing at the time. But if you're late on these, they do disappear. Okay. Now, so here's the next, I hope, if you notice that one section isn't set up the way that the others, I try for consistency. So if I've messed up consistency-wise, please let me know somewhere. Okay, so that's just how this is how the whole course is run. You should be here in the module section. A lot of students will just go to the assignment section. You get more out of watching videos and taking notes than you will get out of, and reading, than you will get out of just opening up a test and taking it. So please make sure that you stay here in this course. Okay, let me pause and I'm going to transition into the actual syllabus. Now remember the syllabus, that's really a course of study, is up here in the Start Here section. So if you click on that, give me 1 second. Okay, so here's the syllabus. I didn't design this syllabus. It's a little funky. Let's go through it. And in blue, what you're looking like, this is Anatomy and Physiology 2. It's the 2nd semester and it's in the summer. What are my meeting times? You're in the virtual world. You can take this anytime you want. My name is Julie Little. I am your professor for this course. I will not be on campus this summer because it's the summer and I am home. I have virtual office hours. Anytime you want to meet with me, text me. Here I say, well, let me see if am I plugged in? Here we go. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Text me at 423-646-3456. But whenever you do that, follow this little guideline right here. I prefer text as my preferred method of communication. And that's because I have a lot of email accounts. And sometimes I won't check my email till the end of the day, or I have a lot of administrative work to do. And so if you text me, it makes you my highest priority. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But I do ask that you tell me, because I teach a lot of classes. Bio 141, Biology 142, 145, 598. I teach a lot of different classes. I just made up this last number because it doesn't, but anyway, I teach 4 different anatomy and physiology classes this summer. So if you text me, now one's over, but still, students will text me until the end of time. If you text me, please tell me exactly which class you're in. Don't say I'm in anatomy and physiology, because all 4 of my classes are anatomy and physiology, all 4 of them. So you have to give me a little more detail than that. Give me your whole name, in case your name is like Michaela and there are 15 Michaelas. Whole name, first name, last name. Tell me who you are. I can meet with you anytime. I can Zoom with you. We can have a phone conversation, whatever you need. You need support? You're having a breakdown? Call me. Text me first, and then I'll say, can you talk? Or we'll Zoom, or whatever you need. Have questions about the class, have problems with the class, text me. It's not a problem. This is my job. So just be aware. You do not ever have to start a text out with, I'm so sorry to bother you, but you're not bothering me. I ask that you not, down here, I should have taken this off because this is what I do during the school year. Please don't text me on the weekend. You can text me on the weekend. I don't know the difference in the summertime. I'm so busy between a weekend and a weekday, but yeah, I'm available, especially since your tests and practicals are due on Sunday night. Now, let's get on down here. We don't need to read this course. You can read this course information for yourself. If you're in this class, you must have completed Biology 141 with a C or better. If you have an incomplete in 141, you cannot continue on in this class. The exam date for this class will be on Monday, July 28th, and it's due before whenever the testing center closes. So wherever you take this test, it has to be at a Virginia Community College System testing center. We have 23 of them in the state of Virginia, so I'm pretty sure you live near one of them. I think we have 4 testing centers for Rappahannock Community College alone. So there are lots of testing centers out there. If you are not going to take your final exam at Rappahannock, then I need you to contact me as soon as possible so we can set up all the information the testing center needs for your final exam, wherever you're going to be at. If you're going to be at J. Sargent Reynolds, wherever you're going to be, let me know. And I want you to know that a lot of these testing centers require an appointment. And so be proactive on this. Look at your work schedule, look at everything else. I hope you're not taking any other classes with this class. You can't be doing that. Well, you could. If you don't work and you don't have kids and you don't have family and you don't have obligations, then you can do that. But chances are you've got all of those. Here's the last day to drop, which is Monday, next Monday. So your first test is due on the 29th, and your first lab practical is due, the first 2 practicals, which will count up for lab practical 1. They're both due on Sunday night at midnight, right? Well, you might fail the first, it's okay, it happens to quite a few. You might fail the first test. You might say you get a 60, which is not failing F-wise, but you want to see for the scores. And say you get an 80 on the lab practical, and you're thinking, I think I need to drop this class. Don't drop it before you talk to me, please. I can tell you how well you did with the rest of the class. We can talk about how you're studying, how you can get back on track, etc. Just don't do a knee-jerk drop of the class before you talk to me. Same with the withdrawal. The difference between a drop and a withdrawal is that if you drop, it's way earlier in the semester, so you get a refund. If you do a withdrawal, it's way later, you don't get a refund. You get a grade of W on your transcript, which doesn't affect your GPA at all. Okay, down here, here's your textbook. I ask that you not buy this kit. This is required by the biology department. And usually I'm close enough to where I can say, save your money, we'll go to campus, we'll dissect there. If you don't have financial aid, do not buy the lab kit. It's not going to affect your grade in this class. If you do have financial aid and you want to buy the lab kit and do dissections as you learn, you are absolutely welcome to do that. So if you bought the lab kit and you want some guidance, open it up. If it's over $200. So you can't return it if you open it up. But if you are convinced you want it, then you'll see maybe there's a heart in there and a kidney and a fetal pig. I'm not sure what's in this second semester lab, but I can guide you on those dissections somehow to supplement your learning. In your textbook, there's a great place called the Atlas. There's a textbook, and then below it, there's a link for the Atlas. And you can click on the Atlas and have lots of great images of dissections in there. Okay. Course objectives, there they are. These course objectives were set by the Virginia Community College System, so that's what I go by. And here we are to where you're probably interested, the grading and evaluation. Lecture for this class is 75% and lab is 25%. Lab really helps people. So practice on your lab. Notice we're going to have 4 tests and 1 final exam. All 5 of these tests are going to count 15%, each one of them, towards your overall grade. 5 times 15, I better do a little math here. You're probably screaming the answer because you can do math in your head. Oh, look at that. 5 times 15 equals 75. And so each test has the same weight to it. The final exam has a little setup, a little different setup to it. Now, the 4 lab practicals, recall, if you're in those actual modules, in one module, you might have 3 lab practicals, but they all average to be 1 lab practical. There might be as little as 1 lab practical that counts for the whole unit. Some people have already taken the endocrine and the blood practicals, so that's good. Took them yesterday. Very impressive. Okay, I go through a sample grade calculation right here, and I'm sure you can do this on your own if you want. And also at this point, Canvas should do this for you. I do have the right to drop you if you're not participating. So if you've not taken your test and your lab practical by midnight on Sunday, I can drop you. You need to reach out to me if there's a problem. Because otherwise I'm supposed to drop you if you have not completed any work by the 10% drop date. I prefer that you drop yourself if you decide not to take this class. It's a lot of stress on me. Now, the testing policy, you're going to be taking your test at home, and I am a stickler about cheating. I watch the videos, I catch cheaters all the time, and we'll go over the cheating policy here in a second. But for right now, we need to go about how do you take a test? When you take a test, you're in an online environment, and to get yourself in the right headspace, you need to pretend like you're in the classroom. And if you wouldn't eat during a test, you're not going to eat during these tests. It has to be quiet. Now, animals walk in, animals bark, meow. Your family walks in unaware. I can tell my husband 18 times, do not come into the kitchen. That's where I am right now. Do not come into the kitchen because I am working, and he'll come in 3 times. Oh, I forgot again. So don't worry about that, but let's go over these rules. You do need to be in a quiet, safe space to take your test. If you break any of the rules below, you receive a 0. When you can retake another, you receive a 0. if you break these rules below. That's how serious I am about them. But you can take another version of that test later on when you're taking your final exam. So you don't want to break these rules. Please read these rules. Don't be scared of them, but just read them. My purpose is to get you used to taking tests online and not cheating and etc. So many people cheat. Okay, why? And don't worry, not in this class. You're going to be in with a bunch of students who won't cheat, so that's great. Okay, while you're taking the test, you may not have any notes or any cheat sheets around you. You have to have a clear working area, no phones, no paper, etc. I want you to take your phone and throw it onto a pillow, whatever you need to. I know you're going to need your phone because sometimes you need it to log in and do everything like that, but you're going to need to take your phone and put it far away because you are going to give me a proper environmental scan. What is an environmental scan? Well, I'm all plugged up here. I'm going to try to do it. When you're going to take a test, you're going to show me your working area. So you have to, this is not a proper environmental scan. Or when it tells you to do the environmental scan, you just sit there like this. If you don't do an environmental scan and a proper one, I'll give you a 0. A proper environmental scan, you'll turn your computer over, you'll show everything around you. That's a piece of paper. It happens, there's nothing on it for the test, doesn't matter. Don't have any paper around. There's my phone, don't have phone around. Okay, so you show me your whole work area. Look at all those pieces of paper. If I see a bunch of pieces of paper around, I'll assume they're notes. So you get a clear area, just like you would in the classroom, and you're going to show me an environmental scan to make sure that you're not cheating. Everybody has to be on the same level of fairness when we take these tests. Okay, 2, you must be seated upright. Computer on a table, not on your lap. Not on your lap. If you lay down, that is unacceptable. It is not fair for me to have to watch students take their test in beds, laying down, in inappropriate attire. I do watch these videos. You must be dressed, you must be sitting up, and you must be professional when you take this test. If you are laying down when I watch your video, you will receive a 0 for the test. Don't worry, you can make the test up with the final. You must be in a quiet, safe space with no other humans. Lots of us have kids. Some of our kids are older than others. Wait till your child goes to sleep to take this test, or, wait till you've got somebody to watch your child. But if someone does run into your working area, let's see. Wait till your children, okay. If they do run in, please just text me and let me know what happened, because I don't want to give you a 0 just because someone else walked into the room on you. Nobody listens. Your family, they're not going to listen when you tell them to be quiet. But I made this rule because people will be taking a test, and these tests, you have to think on them, and they'll have loud music in the background. They'll have a TV going. They'll have people running around the room. You'll get a 0 if you take a test that way because you wouldn't take it that way in the classroom. Okay, next one. The room must be silent. No TV or music in the background. Now, if there's music or TV in another area of the house and you can't get away from it, seems like I can't get away from it here. I understand that, but if it's in the same room as you, you will receive a 0. No eating while you're taking a test. You can drink, but no eating, because I don't want to see you eating with your mouth open, just like in the classroom. I wouldn't want you to eat and wrinkle paper and distract other students. So please, no eating while taking the test. When I say you must have the bandwidth to take the exam, there are 2 different meanings to this. The first meaning, I'm stretched too thin all the time, so I never have a good enough bandwidth. But I'm talking about internet here. You must have a stable internet connection to take the test. If you get kicked out during the exam because of internet issues, you'll get a 0. Now, this one is a special case, you talk to me immediately if this happens. This is an online class, technical issues happen, and I don't want you to feel like, but I do want to encourage you to take your test wherever you can, where you have the best internet. If you can, if it's not home, if you can take it at work, not on work hours, but maybe on your lunch break or something like that, take it there. Okay, you may not exit and re-enter the test. If you get kicked out of the beginning of the test, I'll be looking at the timestamps to see that you re-enter immediately within the same minute, or you will get a 0. This, again, talk to me about this. Tell me what happens. Respondus Monitor is a nightmare, but it's the only way we can do this. I've had students say, why do we even have to be videoed? We're adults. If I turn the video off, 90% of the class will do what they will to get through the test. And so that's not fair for the other 10%, and it really holds you back. Cheating on these tests will just prevent you from being successful in your program later on. My computer is a little funky. It's not. There we go, slowly moving on. I do enforce these test rules. You need a healthy testing environment, and so there you go. If you're confused about any of these, imagine yourself sitting in a classroom and how awkward and disturbing it would be if any of the situations above were allowed. I don't want to see your boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't want to see a parrot on your shoulder, quite distracting. You must be dressed. Please, for my sake, you must be dressed. No taking the computer into the bathroom. Lots of things have happened, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit of trauma from watching these testing videos. So please. Okay, for the rules, for your first, if you cheat, now I will catch you cheating. You cannot take any more tests at home. Your at-home test will be revoked, and all of the rest of your test will be at the testing center. Plus, you'll get a 0 on those tests. For the second events, you'll receive an F for the entire course. Additionally, all offenses will be reported to the appropriate academic dean and the dean of student development. It will go on your record. You will have the right to appeal, and you can go through the due process, but I'm not going to accuse you of cheating unless you're cheating. And you know. So be aware that I'm not only seeing your faces when you take the exam, I'm seeing your computer screen. Everything is being recorded. Students will say, teachers really watch these videos. Some of them do. I definitely do. And I think students are used to not being held accountable. And so they feel very comfortable cheating. I will catch you in this class if you cheat. This is the only time I'm super serious. You've got to have honor and integrity in your life. You're going into the healthcare field, and we depend on our healthcare workers to have honor and integrity. If you have a phone or paper nearby while taking the test, or you use any other aids, you will receive a 0. Yeah. You guys, again, people are pretty comfortable with cheating. I will catch you every time if you cheat. So please don't. Okay, here's your makeup policy. We have, if you have to miss for illness or some other reason, I'll tell you the most common reason. Maybe you wait till 11 o'clock to take the test this Sunday and you haven't downloaded the browser. You are setting yourself up for failure. If you don't, as soon as you watch this, don't download the Respondus Lockdown browser. It's found, just type in, Rappahannock Community College Lockdown browser, and you'll find it. Download it, download the Respondus, follow the directions, get comfortable with it. You don't need to be any more stressed while you're taking the test. So please go ahead and do that right now. So that might be one reason. You have to complete everything within 1 day. If you miss something, like most people will miss because they're afraid to take the test. Don't be afraid. 1 more day is not going to help you. It's just that procrastination is just going to enhance your anxiety. Get your test done by the deadline. However, you will have one extra day. If you can take one missed test and one missed practical during the week called redemption. I've already told you what the true purpose of the redemption week is, so I suggest that you not miss a test. So if you miss a test this 29th, you can take it on the 30th and the practicals, but you're eating into next week's time to study. So that's why you don't want to do it, but you can. But if it gets to the 31st and you have not taken the test, contact me and tell me you will take it during redemption week. Okay, for the final exam, if you miss the final exam, no exceptions, you get a 0. Talk to me if you have any problems whatsoever, though. If you can't find a testing center to take the test, if the testing centers, so here's a problem with our testing centers. They aren't staffed. They are taking the funding away from the testing. They want all these online students to take test online, but they don't want to hold you accountable. Oh, we can just video the students, etc. If I have 40 students in this class and you all take the test, that's an extra 40 hours a week I have to spend in addition to my 40-hour work week watching your videos. And so anyway, that's why I have these very stringent rules, because I'm going to make sure that I don't, anyway. So if you're aggravated when you're setting up the final exam as the only final exam you have to take in a testing center, please be aware it's because they don't have enough staff. They have the weirdest hours, so you need to look ahead, look at the date, look when they're open, make sure that all the stars and the moon align, and then you can make your, what do you call it, appointment to take the test. Read all this, read about the final exam, what happens. The lab practicals down here are the same as for the test if you miss one. Okay. Here is your setup by this week. I have here's your learning sequence. This is also in the syllabus section. What is due by this Sunday, what's due by the next Sunday, by the next. We have an entire week to work with for redemption. For studying for the final exam, it's going to be different than the regular test. Let me get down here. There's this honor code. This is what I'm big on, this honor code. Don't cheat. I'm sorry I have to say it so many times, but you wouldn't believe. Students don't think it's bad to cheat anymore. It's bad to cheat because you don't learn the material and you don't get ready for your subsequent classes, and you can't cheat on your boards and you can't cheat on your other classes, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there are consequences. Let me pause this and get over to the final exam module, because your final exam is different than the 4 tests that you take. Test 1, test 2, test 3. Those are multiple choice true false test. Your final exam is set up in a different way altogether. Okay, so when I went back into your class, I don't have a final exam module yet because I've not made those videos, but here's what it will look like. This is from the 141 class. I collapsed all the modules. When you get to the final exam module, there'll be a list of the final exam questions. I give you the questions, and then I will give you, this is the PowerPoint that goes along with these videos down here. And here's another PowerPoint, but I give you the questions and I give you the solutions, and I expect you to make an A on the final exam, because you have time to practice. You have that full week, and hopefully that you won't eat into. You have that whole week of redemption, and you have the questions and you have the solutions, and I'm very particular on how I grade, and I'll make a video to make you feel very comfortable taking that final exam. For the most part, everyone does super well on the final exam. There are some exceptions. Those who are not watching this orientation and at the very end will expect to go in and take a cumulative final. This is a cumulative final, meaning it covers everything from the beginning of the semester to the end, but it's a different setup because I'm telling you exactly what's on the final and how to practice to get a great score on this final exam. So one reason students fail is they don't watch the orientation video and they wait till the very end and they're like, I can't find my final exam on the day it's due. I can't find my final exam on Respondus Monitor. That's because it's in the testing center. Your final exam is in the testing center. I put it there for you. You have to tell me which one to put it in, but for the most part, if it's in Rappahannock, you don't have to tell me, but if it's anywhere else, we need to set that up. So this is a different setup, and a lot of people like this because they do really well. So this is what the final exam module will be looking like. Question solutions, I hope you like it. If you have any questions about the class, about anything, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're concerned, everyone is concerned. Like if you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of work. Yes, but you'll get it done in 5 weeks and you'll be able to concentrate on it. You'll eat, sleep, drink, breathe, anatomy and physiology for 5 weeks, but it will be done. And if you do this course right, it's going to help you for the rest of your allied health career. Okay, contact me if you want. Remember, I prefer text messages. So 423-646-3456. That is my preferred method of communication. If you do email me through Canvas, be aware that that goes to my regular email account. Yeah. So if you contact me at any time, it's going to go to my regular email account and it will still take me days and I might miss it. So if you email me and I miss one of your emails, just all you have to do is either resend the email, that'd be the best thing, or you can text me that you emailed me on such and such a date and please look for that email. Okay. Good luck in 142. I'm on your side. So you got that going for you.